yes, we should always, keep it in mind, yung mga ganon. But we will just continue, hindi pa yan tapos, mga last 4 pages pa, but we will just continue next meeting. So we can have our next subject. So every 45 minutes lang ta mag-meet. I guess that's enough, no, na ma-explain na to. And the rest kasi, actually this paper is actually designed talaga for self-study. That's why you have to do it by yourself, yung pag next na mga lesson and answer the quizzes. So, kung wala na kayong mga tanong regarding animal health, then we're going to proceed with, kasi di ba ko sa isa ko na natatanan. So this will be another 45-minute recorded for this subject, dairy industry. So last time we actually started na this the classification and terminologies, and as you can see, here, may binago. Yung Ruel, humana ba ka ani? Naka-answer na ka ani. So binago ko, pangit mo kito akong gibuhat. So ako na lang siya yung and I already added some of this, or some some common terms, general terms in animal husbandry, para di na kayo mag-research, but this will be reported in your laboratory report. So again, as I have said, once I'll be ready with all the contents, hanggang ngayon, di pa ko ready. So I'll be assigning some of these topics to you so you can be the one na mag-explain next time. So karon relax lang sa mo. So again, we're done with introduction to dairy industry. We have discussed the classification and terminologies, and we watch. So pag next ani. So for those who miss it, you can watch the video presentation. So i-close ko na siya, ha? Okay. So we'll have the second topic, which is the status of dairy industry. And kanina murag bago lang na ako send sa inyong dashboard. Kanina lang. Yeah, APT 314 status. Yeah, ito. Oh. So wala pa man actually, but ano to? Okay, so for the status, this would be more on figures and facts, no? So dali lang man siya, but I don't know why, kasi isa man ka PDF akong gi-upload na pag something nag-double ang mga So for this session, we'll be talking about kumusta na yung dairy industry natin. Although this report has been made 2016, pero naman sila available sa Philippine Statistics Authority na 2019 or 2020. But I prefer rather hindi naman masyado nag-change through the years, even up to 10 years, mga 5 to 10 years, hindi na siya kaay nag-change ang data nato. So I prefer this this mga data na ito kasi naa siya mga figures. Okay. So klaro ba? But sa inyo siguro maklaro na inyo. So although this is table 8 or table 9 kasi nakapilo mo nga book. So this will be the contents of this book, we have tables and figures of inventories, yung status lang. And as you can see here, you just read what is written here. So we will just start with the volume of export since this is page 1. Although sa likod ko na supposedly kaya nga table 8. But then since sa ating screen, first siya nag-appear. So as you can see here, this is the records of 2015. So yung export natin volume actually accounted for 69.38%. No, and we export export pala. We export products, dairy products for Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. So ito yung market natin sa ating export ng dairy products. But it doesn't mean na hindi na tayo nag-i-import. So ayan, pinakamataas, hindi naman siguro niya maklaro. Pinakamataas ng volume 2015 ay Malaysia, then Thailand, and even we even export to Iraq, no, and others, may mga others dyan. And also, wala man ako nakita kanina, tangin. So, as of 2015, you can see here na ang mga price or farm gate price ng mga milk sources natin, that includes cattle, carabao, and goat. So, as you can see here, mas mahal talaga ang carabao kumpara sa cattle at saka sa goat. And in fact, ang goat ay mas mahal pa kaysa cattle. No? So, next table, we have, this is the volume of import naman, yung ating gina-import or ginaangat from other countries. So, yung major source natin ng import is New Zealand, followed by USA, and then Australia. And they have been supplying 1,048 something thousand metric tons, no? Which is 58% of the total dairy imports of the Philippines. Yung kanina, yung export natin, balik ko lang ha, is 69%. So ibig sabihin, mas talagang patag i-export kaysa i-import. Kasi 58%, pero halos tunga-tunga lang po, no? So for the volume and value of export naman ng dairy products, is about 168 tons, 1,000 metric tons, or 69%. By country of origin din siya kaning total volume by type of dairy products. So, sa New Zealand. And this in here, dito sa table na ito, sorry, maliit masyado. Ang pinaka daghan in terms of volume na gina-export nato is milk and cream, followed by cheese, and butter, and pork. Ay, ano pala ito? Volume 2015. Yeah, tama nga. Milk and cream, and followed by cheese, and then butter, and then curd. So, supply utilization, paano natin siya na-utilize sa Philippines? No, local production and imports and exports. So, the total supply of milk in 2015 reached about 1,800,000 metric tons, which is higher, no? And yung import naman natin is 3% with 1,740,000, something like that. So, yung net natin is about 1,600. So, as I have just said, medyo ano siya, kanang equal lang ang atong export and import. But usually, ang pinaka dako natong use is local production is konti lang siya, no, in 2015. We will just focus on 2015, ha. Ang supply natin for net domestic is malaki. But for all human population, per capita supply, i-compute lang niya, that's 16 liters per year, kunwari, and with this population. So, ang net is this one. So, medyo equal lang siya, no? 50, 60, 60, 50. So, in terms of value and volume of imports, so as you can see here, pinakamalaki pa din ang milk and cream, followed by butter and cheese and curd. So, etong this highlights is just to show you ilang animals na as of 2016. So, we have total population ng ating dairy animals. Dairy lang niya siya, ha? 44,432 heads. Gamera, no? But when you go to New Zealand, mas daghan pa ilang baka kaysa ilang population, no? And milk, yes. Nakaadto naka-care.
Oo ma'am.
Mato ka New Zealand care.
Yes ma'am, nindot yung dairy dito.
Gani, no? Sige, padayon. So, in 2015, yung milk production in our country is umabot siya ng, this is by type of animals. No, so madami pa rin ang cattle versus carabao and goat, no? But ang pinakamahal na presyo ay carabao. And for import naman, madami din tayong import, no? Total na ito. Mostly ang gina-import man dito nato kay cattle milk. So we have inventory here of our different dairy cattle heads. So in 2016, we have 24,000. So medyo maliit ka siya kung later na ano. So you can see here in 2016, this is 2016 na dahil siya nga record, kaya pala doble. Feeling ko lang doble. Nalibog ko sa iyang arrangement kasi. So pinakamadami ay goat, dairy goat. 3,000 kasi siya dito. So, ganon pa din, for cattle lang pala ang 24,000 din. Ang all dairy animals, 44,000 pa din. But it increased actually, no? So, dairy cattle pa rin ang highest, followed by carabao and then goat. So in terms naman of milk production, so you can see, nagkapoy-kapoy pa kung basa na naman ang font. In terms of milk production, so pareha lang po siya sa of course, kung daghan ka o cattle heads, so daghan po kang ma-produce na milk. And then followed by carabao and then goat. So gamay ra gyud ang ma-produce na milk sa goat. Okay, so this is again an inventory. The same laman ni siya kanina, no? Na doble gani mo na kung ginaingon, pero this is based kasi sa kanilang check ko lang ulit 2016, 2015. Tama, pareho ra gyud siya. So na doble lang na siya nga page. And I guess also this one na doble po din siya nga page. Kasi I already have explained this. And this is, table 6 and 7. Yung mo kaya siya na-arrange. But then it's still the same. No, this is for 2015. yung ating imports by country, New Zealand, followed by USA and Australia. And also same food for milk and cream. Cheese pala, and then butter and curd. Nabalik naman to siya po din. Nalibo gani ko ani nga kuan no nagbalik-balik po to table 8 and 9 nabalik na po na siya. So sorry ako lang ni arrange niya. So there are extras actually ano. So this is the most updated but this is published 2017. So makikita ninyo dere kato customer whole report na to kani it's very detailed. Lagi unsa man ako siya. Na 400. Yeah. So you have here the trade. Unsa de? Next last box ako ha. Okay, we should start here. Maghangin pa bilao. Okay, well, nagadaot siya. Do you have any question or clarification? Some. Okay. Do you have any question or clarification? Okay, so we have here reports or highlights in the Philippines. So we actually, ano yung mga product na ini-import natin? Ibig sabihin, binibili natin, sina-source out natin from other countries. So we have milk powder, of course, kay prolific yung Pinoy, daghan kay pag babies, and we need a lot of cow's milk. No? For domestic production, since domestic production cannot meet our daily requirement, which is 2 million metric tons. So imagine kanina, thousands to ako ang ma-produce na milk. Then ang need na to is 2 million, no? According to the National Dairy Authority. So yung as of 2017, this is now more updated. So yung although na forecast sila nag-drop daw 2.5 million metric tons ang from 2016 ang importation. So it means maybe our domestic supply is good. So the major suppliers is New Zealand from 39%, US 24%, then next Australia. So as I just told you, dili man siya masyadong kanang mag-change, no? So yung unang present ko kasi 2015 to nga updated kani 2016. So the Philippines is the 5th largest market for US dairy products with about $227 million and 4th largest by volume. So mga ano kasi tayo milk drinker, di ba? So ano itong mga commodities na ito? We have milk fluid, non-fat, dry, dairy, and dry whole milk powder, and cheese, and also favorite po na to, ang cheese. No? Kabalo ko sa inyong batch daw, favorite ko ninyo ang cheese. Ingon ni Go. Tama ba ko?
Yes, ma'am.
So for production naman, Philippines produces less than 1% ng total annual dairy requirement and import the balance. Kasi in our economy, like the World Trade Organization, dili ka pwede makapalit sa isa ka country pag dili po ka mag-export, no? So kailangan equal imong exports o sa import mo nang usually mo na ginatan-aw nato, mabalance ang import versus export. But then less than 1% daw ang atong annual dairy requirement. according to the National Dairy Authority. And it shows that local milk production, such from cattle, carabao, and goats, is amounting to 21,000 metric tons, no, which is nag-increase siya from 2015. 65% daw is cow's milk, and yung value is amounted to 715 million or $14 million. And yung local production natin is 22 metric tons in 2017. At they are positive na mag-expand daw. Although, meron naman ngayon, so 2021, meron na silang result, pero it's not published pa like this. No? So, in 2017 also, meron tayong 11,700 head, which is nag-increase siya. So, overall, nag-increase ang ating animal heads ng dairy at saka yung ating local production. So, this was because of the government herd build-up programs daw, no? Kaya dumami yung ating mga dairy multiplier farms, and because of the support of the government. Diba? Namigay man sila, natagaan mo? Wala, wala. So, about 500 to 1.5 head per year daw ang i-release pa for the next several years. So, hopefully. So, yung ating Philippine milk production per animal is about 8 liters per day. So, is that na ba may experience na? Is that possible or overrated? What do you think? Yeah, as explained here, it remains low. No? Dahil daw sa poor feed and management practice as well as high production cost and lack of adequate dairy infrastructure. So, bakit, no? Nga daghan pa. But mostly siguro ang nag-engage ng mga dairy production kasi usually kanang dili man ang mga agriculturists, no? Kasi konti lang talaga ang ating agriculturists. Na in fact supposedly like in other advanced countries, naagid sila available na i-dispose ng mga technician, no, as extensionist na para matulungan yung mga merong lupa or merong mga animals, no? Kasi if you study agriculture and then you're agriculturist, although you can have your own farm, but it takes you also of course high capital, and kapag mostly then nag-agriculturist, gamay ra, and then gamay ra pod ang medyo arangan, no? Pero gwapo noon, di ba? Approve ka diha. So by comparison also, so yung skills na training by yung skills na kailangan naman could be trained by our mga technician, which are, but then yung ating Department of Agriculture no dili na gina siya na maka-field kaay, konti lang man, no, ang pwede i-hire sa gobyerno. So by comparison also from other country, imagine 30 liters per day ang isang dairy animal na makapag-produce ng milk, and about 20 liters per day sa UK. So ato 8 liters per day lang, di ba? Gamay ra gyud kay siya. And the average farm gate price of milk had increased from 31 liter so in 2015 and also to 34 liter in 2016, no? And nag-increase pa yun siya as of July 2017. So there are only 4 main types of dairy farms in the Philippines. They are classified as individual smallholder producers, or yung who consume and sell locally what they produce, and also smallholder cooperatives, yung nagde-deliver ng milk to the collection point for transport and processing plant, yung commercial farms na meron silang processors, and government farms na nagsusupply sa mga school and rural community feeding programs, yung mga funded by government na mga projects. Therefore, yung amount ng Philippine fluid milk supply is actually ultra high temperature, UHT. So ito yung ating processing method, which is also what is being done from imported milk powder. Dahil meron tayong cold chain challenges and limited production only. So in terms of consumption naman in the Philippines, so estimated about 22 kilogram compared with Thailand na meron silang 26 kilogram. So mas mahilig pa yun ang mga Thai o milk. And Malaysia, mas dako pa, 52 kilogram. Sa US, tumataginting na 287 kilogram. No? But they have stronger economy and middle class, growing population, which is in the Philippines, which is 102 million in 2015. So I guess 102 million na ba? 110 naman siguro. Siyempre, 2015 naman. The Philippines is large also and rapidly expanding for expanding market for milk and milk products. So meron tayong expanding na cold chain capacity, increasing number ng supermarkets, and blossoming food processing industry. So do you have any questions so far? Hi, Lance. So in terms naman po ng trade, but before that, according to NDA,
May bukeng ulan rin, ma'am.
gani dari pod ahaday ka Lance, Davao.
Yes, ma'am. Tugbok, ma'am.
So this is actually the second subject now. First subject natin is animal health, and we are now on second subject. Kaamo pod, Ma'am Ruel. Asa inyo, Ruel? Davao pod? Tubag lang dara ha. So, according to their statistics, so 1 out of every 3 glass daw ng fresh milk is only produced locally. 1. So sa 3 ka gatas ang ginainom nimo, isa lang ang from the Philippines. But actually kita ang daghan magputag mga derived siya gana. Pero straight naman ata na. Kaya di ba ka ng mga Unilever, Nestle Nestle Philippines, pero usually mas daghan yun siguro ang New Zealand nga gikan kasi New Zealand ang top producer nato or source na gina-importan nato. So every Filipino family now spends 4,000 per year for dairy products. So mostly, okay. Almeya! Wait lang ha. Ano ba? Almeya! Where's baby? Baby, try to charge your dali. Okay, we have 10 minutes pa. So, naglobat naman akong phone. Asa ka ni nag Argel, asa hindi ka nag-date ka no?
Ma'am, sorry ma'am, na-late ko ma'am. Munggoy signal ko diri ma'am. Nami sa bukid ma'am.
Alright. Sure lang na nasa bukid ha. Date ka.
Ma'am, sorry kay ma'am.
Okay, ay, okay ra, Argel, oy. Para na sa imuhang kinabukasan. Baby, asa mo dito so? Thank you. Bye. Check sa ako.
Sinasay. Para wala yung kuhan ba? Ganit ka dilian pero ba?
Okay, so usually daw half daw ng mga smaller milk production usually goes to sa mga school and community milk feeding programs kasi most of them are assisted lang man by by the government. So mostly sa kanila din kumukuha ng mga for feeding programs. No, kasi sa elementary sa DepEd ngayon, they still have feeding programs and one main ingredient or one main food na supply nila is really milk, no? And good thing kasi ano na siya locally produced. So medyo community based siya, but then we are able to maintain the quality ng ating fresh milk, but still challenging siya because we don't have processing and distribution system pa. And we still depends on continuous cold chain. No? So fresh fluid milk in mid-range Manila supermarket will sell about 120 per liter ng milk as of October 2017. So depende po na siya sa brand, no? But in terms of trade, ang US export to the Philippines increased in volume by 30% in 2016, but
Ma'am,
yes.
ma'am, balik lang ko ma'am. Hindi ko kadungog ma'am. Gusto kong ulan ma'am.
Sige, okay lang, Argel. You just watch the recorded video. Mic ni mo pa rin. Kinsay nasa Oriental si Argel? Taga Oriental din na si Argel? So going back in but then nag-decrease siya by 10% in 2016. Fall. So I don't know why nag-ingon sila fall na wala man tayo winter, summer, fall dali. Puro naman ta summer. So in 2016, Philippines was the 5th largest market daw ng US. No, we already have mentioned that. And US dairy export to Philippines were mostly non-fat dry milk, dried whey, and cheese. So yun yung mga tatlong major na ini-import natin from US. So since nag-drop siya due to low dairy prices, no, or dairy export volume showed increase 13%. And in 2017, you can now see your screen, of course. Let's screen share ako. So they were forecasting na yung volume will increase and the price will improve, no, and expected to raise the value of exports natin. So for Philippine dairy imports, so yung ating country is the third largest agricultural import after wheat and soybean meal. Yung dairy products pala ang country na. Yung dairy products is the third largest. So ang top na import product natin is wheat, followed by soybean, and then followed by dairy products. So noon pa yan, since immemorial, no? Ganun talaga ang condition. It's just because we have that capability naman in terms of area, no? And but yun nga, na-mention na yung mga kanina, yung mga kulang, no? We don't have the proper processing plant, we don't have enough trained person, and we don't have the technology. Although that's very achievable, but the yung ating gobyerno naman are really taking measures, no? Yung Department of Agriculture is actually, pero medyo slow lang, no? So if you have seen the other country how industrials they are, so you will realize na ang Philippines is somewhat mga 20 years behind. So the majors, so the major suppliers ng Philippines by volume is still New Zealand, no? And followed by US and Australia. So skim milk powder, nakatilaw naman ang skim milk powder.
Ano, ma'am?
Non-fat milk.
No.
Katong bata pa kung maka-remember, na ang gobyerno naghahatag anak ang milk. But dili na siya makataba ng milk kasi nga skim milk siya, no? So ginagamit lang na siya for baking, I think, no, and other uses. But yung usually ang ginainom nato are whole milk powder or fresh milk. So itong mga gina-import natin, usually the SNP and WMP, which is 60% ng total dairy imports. But nag-decline siya by 2017 since nag-recover daw ang dairy prices. But it's eventually forecasted na mag-decline pa as magra-rise pa yung global milk prices. So mahal daw siya. And in 2017, the liquid milk imports should also increase slightly dahil daw sa rising consumption natin and increased use ng food service. While the imports of butter and dairy products spreads well as cheese will increase, and mainly from the New Zealand and Australia due to duty-free advantage ng mga supplier natin. As a result of increasing demand for products from the expanding middle class. Charot na pala gyapon middle class. My God, less than 1 minute na lang. Nagsiguro akong tabi. Australia and New Zealand is actually part ng ating ASEAN, no, agreement, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So anytime mapalo nga niya siya, no? But if you still have a lot of questions, then you can still go back before time of finally goodbye and good night. So you can see here on the table the volume of dairy imports. Ay, amin na ko mag. So actually patapos na din ito, no? Yun lang yung by in terms of yung mga nabanggit ko on the first mga discussion, ito yung table to show all of those. No? So, do you have